The dust, fine and red, clung to everything on our Kansas farm. It settled on my worn boots, coated the leaves of the cornstalks, and even seemed to seep into the very lines etched on my face. This land, this life, it was in my blood. 3 generations of millers had tilled this soil, weathered the droughts, and celebrated the bountiful harvests. It was more than just a farm. It was a legacy, a living testament to hard work and resilience. I was proud of it, every aching bone and every calloused hand a badge of honor. My son, Ethan, saw it differently. For him, the dust was just dirt, the work was primitive, and the legacy was a burden. He'd left for the city years ago, chasing a life of suits and skyscrapers, a world away from the endless fields. Whenever he visited, which was rare, his disdain hung in the air like a summer storm. His eyes, once so bright with curiosity as a boy, now held a thinly veiled contempt. "Dad," he'd say, "why do you still cling to this? It's a dying way of life. You could have had so much more." His words, sharp as barbed wire, always cut deep. I'd try to explain the beauty of watching a seed sprout, the satisfaction of a good harvest, the quiet dignity of providing for others. But he'd just nod, a patronizing smile playing on his lips, already mentally packing his bags for the next flight back to his real life. He saw only the grime, never the glory. He saw the struggle, never the soul. And with each visit, the chasm between us widened, a silent, painful canyon carved by his dismissive words. It was becoming clear that our definitions of more were fundamentally, heartbreakingly different. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapters. Ethan's mockery wasn't always direct, but it was constant, a low hum of disapproval beneath every conversation. I remember one summer he came home for a week, complaining about the heat, the flies, the lack of decent coffee shops. He found humor in my worn-out tractor, chuckling as I wrestled with a stubborn engine part. "Why not just buy a new one, Dad? You're stuck in the Stone Age." He didn't understand that every dent and every patch on that old machine told a story of survival, of making do with what you had. He'd ridicule my evening routine, sitting on the porch swing, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and purple. "Still admiring dirt, are we?" he'd quip, scrolling through his phone, disconnected from the vast open beauty around him. His greatest hits included, "Your hands look like an old leather glove," and "This farm smells like," well, a farm. Each comment, seemingly innocuous, chipped away at my patience, at the love that had once flowed so freely between us. I'd spent countless nights staring at the ceiling, wondering where I went wrong. Did I not give him enough? Did I give him too much? The final straw wasn't a single event, but a culmination. It was the way he'd introduced me to his city friends as my father, the farmer, with a tone that implied I was a relic from a bygone era, something quaint but ultimately irrelevant. His casual dismissiveness felt like a betrayal of everything I'd worked for, everything I believed in. The farm, our family's heritage, was a joke to him, and a father can only endure so much disrespect for what he holds sacred. Amidst the growing tension with Ethan, a seismic shift began to rumble beneath the quiet rhythm of the farm. For months, I'd been hearing whispers about a major agricultural conglomerate, AgriCorp, looking to secure long-term grain contracts. They were expanding, seeking stable supply chains, and their eyes were turning to the fertile plains of Kansas. It felt almost too good to be true. A lifeline thrown to a farmer who'd spent decades battling volatile markets and unpredictable weather. I attended a few community meetings, listened intently to the buzz, and then, cautiously, made some inquiries. Turns out, AgriCorp was indeed serious. They weren't just looking for a year's harvest, they wanted a multi-year commitment, guaranteeing a substantial, stable income, something I'd only ever dreamed of. The sheer scale of the deal was daunting. Millions of bushels, millions of dollars. It represented not just financial security for me, but a chance to modernize the farm, to invest in new equipment, and to finally ensure its future, securing the legacy Ethan so easily dismissed. The negotiations were slow, meticulous, filled with legal jargon and complex projections. I found myself in boardrooms, far from the familiar scent of rich earth, surrounded by men in sharp suits who spoke a different language. Yet I held my own, drawing on decades of practical experience, understanding the nuances of the land better than any spreadsheet could. This deal wasn't just about money, it was about validating my life's work, proving that this dying way of life could not only survive, but thrive. It was a chance to finally, truly, secure the Miller farm. The day of the final contract signing dawned crisp and clear, a perfect Kansas morning. My lawyer, a quiet, sharp man named Frank, was already at the office when I arrived. He placed the thick folder, heavy with pages of legalese, on the polished table. I'd slept little, the weight of the decision pressing down on me. This wasn't just about the grain deal. It was about the other document Frank had prepared, the one that would finalize my will. Ethan's latest phone call the night before had sealed it. He'd casually mentioned selling off some old family heirlooms he'd inherited from his grandmother, things I treasured, dismissing them as clutter. It was the final, undeniable proof that he had no respect for our heritage, no connection to the things that mattered. The farm, my life's blood, would be nothing more than a profitable liquidation to him. I couldn't let that happen. The legacy, the land, it deserved better. With a heavy heart but a clear mind, I picked up the pen. First, I signed the multi-million-dollar grain deal, the culmination of months of intense work, securing the farm's future beyond my lifetime. Then, I turned to the second document. My hand was steady as I signed the updated will, formally removing Ethan from any inheritance related to the farm. I wasn't disinheriting him entirely, but the farm, the one thing he mocked, would now be left to my loyal foreman, a man who understood and respected the land. It was the hardest decision of my life, but I knew deep down it was the right one. If you're finding this story compelling, please subscribe to our channel for more real-life dramas. Your support helps us tell these important stories. With the signatures dry on the AgriCorp contract, a new energy crackled across the farm. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the validation. We immediately started implementing the changes, investing in state-of-the-art irrigation systems and precision planting equipment. The old, worn-out machinery was slowly being replaced, not out of disdain for the past, but out of a vision for the future. The clatter of progress filled the air, replacing the familiar, slower rhythm of years gone by. The first few weeks were a whirlwind. There were engineers on site, explaining complex schematics, and technicians installing new sensors that would monitor soil moisture and nutrient levels with unprecedented accuracy. I found myself learning again, embracing new technologies that promised higher yields and more sustainable practices. It was challenging, sometimes overwhelming, but exhilarating. Every day brought a new puzzle to solve, a new skill to master. The farmhands, many of whom had been with me for decades, initially viewed the changes with a mix of apprehension and excitement. But as they saw the benefits, less manual labor, more efficient operations, and the promise of a more stable future, their spirits lifted. We were a team now more than ever, working towards a common goal. The sun still rose over our fields, and the dust still settled. But now it felt different. It felt like the dust of progress, settling on a legacy that was not dying but evolving, stronger and more vibrant than ever before. Navigating the complexities of a multi-million-dollar deal and modernizing a generational farm wasn't something I could do alone. Thankfully, I wasn't. Sarah, my farm manager, a sharp woman in her early 30s who'd grown up on a neighboring farm, became my right hand. She understood both the practicalities of agriculture and the intricacies of spreadsheets, bridging the gap between my decades of experience and the new technological demands. She'd argue with me when I was stubborn, but always with respect and always with the farm's best interest at heart. Then there was Marcus, the AgriCorp liaison. Initially I was wary of him, seeing him as just another suit from the city. But Marcus was different. He had a genuine passion for agriculture, even if his expertise lay more in logistics and supply chains. He respected my knowledge of the land, often seeking my counsel on specific crop rotation strategies or weather patterns. He became an unexpected ally, helping me understand the corporate side of the deal, patiently explaining market trends and contract clauses. Their support was invaluable. Sarah would spend evenings researching new seed varieties or equipment, while Marcus would ensure our grain deliveries were streamlined and profitable. We held weekly meetings in my old farmhouse kitchen, the air thick with coffee and the scent of freshly baked bread, poring over yield reports and market forecasts. These weren't just business partners, they were becoming friends, people who believed in the farm's potential as much as I did. In their eyes, I saw not a dying way of life too, but a vibrant, evolving enterprise. The first major harvest under the new AgriCorp contract was a testament to our collective effort. The optimized irrigation, the precision planting, the improved fertilizer application, all of it paid off. The cornstalk stood tall and green, heavy with golden ears, a sight that filled me with immense pride. The weather for once cooperated, offering warm, sunny days for growth and crisp, dry air for harvesting. There were still challenges, of course. A sudden hailstorm threatened one section of the field, and a vital piece of harvesting equipment broke down at a critical moment. But unlike the past, when I'd faced these setbacks alone, now I had a team. Sarah quickly coordinated repairs, leveraging her contacts in the farming community, while Marcus expedited a replacement part, minimizing downtime. The crew worked tirelessly, their morale boosted by the clear success we were seeing. Watching the combines sweep through the fields, gathering the abundant harvest, felt like watching a dream unfold. The numbers coming in from the weigh station were astounding, higher yields than we'd seen in decades. It wasn't just a good harvest, it was a resounding success, proving that our investments, our hard work, and our belief in the farm were paying off in spades. The relief, the satisfaction, was immense. The future, once uncertain, now stretched out before us, brimming with potential. If this story of perseverance and transformation resonates with you, make sure to subscribe. Your support helps us create more compelling content. Word travels fast in small towns, and even faster when there's money involved. It wasn't long before Ethan got wind of the AgriCorp deal and, more importantly, the changes to my will. The call came on a Tuesday morning, his voice tight with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "Dad, what is this I'm hearing? You cut me out. After everything. What about my inheritance?" His words stung, not because of their content, but because they completely missed the point. He hadn't asked about the farm's success, hadn't congratulated me on the deal, only focused on what he felt he was owed. I explained calmly, "Ethan, the farm is a living entity, not just a bank account. It needs someone who will nurture it, not just sell it off. You made your feelings clear about this life." He argued, he pleaded, he even tried to manipulate me with guilt, bringing up old memories of us working in the fields when he was a boy, conveniently forgetting his later disdain. I listened patiently, my heart aching for the son I thought I knew, the one who saw only money, not legacy. "Ethan," I said, "this isn't about punishing you. It's about protecting what I've built, what generations before me built. The farm is going to someone who values it, who will continue its story." There was a long silence on the other end, then a frustrated sigh before he hung up. The conversation left me emotionally drained, but solidified my decision. His reaction only confirmed that I had done the right thing for the farm. The success of the AgriCorp deal extended far beyond just the current harvest. It was a foundational shift for Miller Farm. The stable, predictable income allowed for unprecedented long-term planning, transforming abstract hopes into concrete investments. We poured resources into soil health, implementing advanced cover cropping techniques and rotational grazing that enriched the earth, ensuring fertility for decades to come. We began exploring diversification, planting small test plots of high-value specialty crops, like organic herbs, and unique varietals of heirloom tomatoes, crops that required meticulous care but promised higher returns. The farm wasn't just surviving anymore. It was flourishing, its roots deepening, its branches reaching for new possibilities. This growth also had a tangible impact on our small community. We hired more local people, offering stable, well-paying jobs that breathed new life into the rural economy. Families who had considered moving away found reasons to stay, and a quiet sense of optimism began to permeate the air. Miller Farm quickly became a model for sustainable agriculture in the region. Other farmers, curious about our methods, frequently visited, pulling up in their dusty pickups to walk through our fields, ask questions, and share their own challenges. I often found myself speaking at local gatherings, sharing my experiences and lessons learned, a quiet pride swelling in my chest at the thought that our success could inspire others. The financial security brought an unexpected and profound sense of peace. The constant gnawing worry about volatile crop prices, about simply making ends meet, had finally lifted. I could now focus entirely on the land itself, on perfecting our practices, on ensuring the health and vitality of the soil for future generations, not just the next season. The bustling urban landscape of Ethan's world felt so distant, so utterly irrelevant to the tangible, vibrant progress I saw unfolding every single day. My days were still long, my hands still calloused and weathered by the sun, but now there was a lightness to my step, a profound sense of accomplishment that permeated every chore, every sunset. I often walked the vast fields at dusk, not with the heavy burden of past struggles, but with the quiet satisfaction of a dream deeply realized. The farm, once dismissed by some, especially Ethan, as outdated and clinging to a bygone era, was now vibrant, modern, and undeniably secure. It stood as a living testament to resilience, to adapting without abandoning core values. It was undeniable proof that hard work, combined with foresight and the right support from dedicated individuals, could not only sustain a cherished legacy, but elevate it to breathtaking new heights. The future of Miller Farm, once so carelessly mocked, was now brighter and more enduring than ever before. Months turned into a year, then two, and the transformation of Miller Farm was nothing short of remarkable. Under the new arrangements, fueled by the AgriCorp deal's stability, the farm flourished, becoming a true beacon of successful, modern agriculture in the region. We'd invested in advanced soil regeneration techniques, diversified our crop rotation, and even started experimenting with sustainable energy solutions. The fields, once merely productive, now hummed with a quiet vibrancy, a testament to thoughtful stewardship. My foreman, a man named David, had fully embraced his expanded role. He wasn't just managing operations, he was learning every facet of ownership, from market analysis to machinery maintenance, with an eagerness that mirrored my own passion decades ago. He visited agricultural conferences, brought back innovative ideas, and spoke of the farm's future with a glint in his eye. He was a son, not by blood but by spirit and dedication, embodying the very values Ethan had scoffed at. We often discussed future plans, extending the farm's legacy far beyond my lifetime, knowing it would be in capable, caring hands. Ethan and I rarely spoke. Our conversations, when they happened, were polite but distant, a chasm of unspoken grievances and fundamental disagreements about what truly matters in life. He occasionally mentioned his city life, his new ventures, seemingly successful in his own world of financial gains and urban pursuits. But I knew he still didn't understand. He saw the financial prosperity of the farm, the robust balance sheets, but still missed the heart, the soul, the deep, almost spiritual connection to the earth that defined it. The profound irony was, his mockery, his disdain for this very life, had inadvertently forced my hand, compelling me to secure the farm's future in a way I might never have without his painful detachment. His actions, meant to alienate, had paradoxically cemented the farm's enduring purpose. As I sit on my porch now, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and purple, casting long, peaceful shadows across the endless fields, I feel a profound sense of contentment. The air is cool, carrying the earthy scent of damp soil and the sweet promise of growing crops. The farm, my legacy, is not only safe, but thriving, stewarded by hands that respect and love it as much as my own. I may have lost a certain kind of connection with my son, a shared vision for the future, but I gained a peace that surpasses understanding. This land, this life, it continues, strong and true, a testament to the enduring power of hard work, resilience, and knowing what you truly stand for. The dust still settles on my boots, but now it feels less like a burden and more like a blessing, the settled particles of a life well lived, a legacy secured. Thank you for watching this story of resilience, family, and legacy. If you were moved by this journey, please subscribe to our channel for more real and emotionally impactful stories. Your support helps us continue to share these powerful narratives.